Buddy Junior 2000 here, coming at you with a movie review. And it's been hella cold here in California. And yeah, it's been rainy and windy. A lot of shit falls down from branches, and street areas are getting flooded with the heavy rain. But yeah, doing good, staying safe and staying warm. Knows I have another jacket on. It's hella cold in my house. But one leads to another. Let's get back to the movie reviews and hope everybody's staying safe and staying warm. In case you guys are having rain and bad weather trouble, stay safe with your family and friends and take care, everybody. And enjoy my movie review. And yeah, let's get back to the movie reviews. I'm doing good, folks. But yeah, this is my movie review of the 1999 criminally underrated creature feature film, Komodo, 1999. This is a really criminally underrated creature feature film. I know I've reviewed Python and Python 2, that shitty sequel, and there's a lot of great creature feature films I have watched, like Alligator, Jaws, Lake Placid, The Relic, many others that are pretty good. Even I gotta mention Razorback. That's a good one. That's a one that nobody really talks about, and I know there's a Scream Factory Blu-ray out there for that. We'll pick that up someday. But I definitely enjoyed Razorback. It's a really good underrated creature feature film about a giant ass boar monster that kills and eats people in Australia, and it's a really badass film. But there's a many great creature feature films, and this is the one I really grew up watching. I know I mentioned that two Python 2000. It's a creature feature film. Like it's a bit of a stupid snake funny movie to watch. It's a silly snake movie, but for a creature feature film, like it's more like a 2000 movie to enjoy. It's a goofy movie, but for a creature feature film, I kind of like this movie more as a creature feature film. And it's Komodo 1999, starring Joe Hennessy, Billy Burr, Kevin Singers, Paul Gleason. No, not the guy from Breakfast Club, a different actor. And it's directed by Michael Lanteri, who was one of the special effects dudes that was behind Jurassic Park, and he directed this movie. This is the only movie he directed, but he did a good job directing this film. It's not a bad movie for a low budget creature feature film. And it's even the writers of Anaconda, which is another snake movie that's pretty solid and decent. But yeah, Komodo 99, great movie. It was up to the realm of Relic and Anaconda and Lake Placid, with all those creature feature films coming out in the late 90s. Yeah, the movie begins about these Komodo dragons that are in this off coast island from Florida. They get picked up by this guy because it came from Asia, these giant eggs. And then the guy is driving home with these eggs until he noticed that something smells like shit and something really stinks. So he looks in the back of his trunk and he knows it's just the eggs that are smelling bad. So he takes them out of his van and throws them to the floor. Continues to sniff his hand to smell shit all over his hand. And he goes like, "Ugh." And of course, they're left there on that island for 19 summers later. The eggs are gone. They are born. They are fully developed. And the movie does a good job not showing you what they look like until like it gives you like that slow burn for like the first 35 minutes of the movie until you get that impact. It's like how they did that with Jaws. They did that with The Relic. They did that with um, Lake Placid and even Alligator. Like it doesn't show you right away what the thing is that is attacking people because it gives you that really good slow burns, really well done story, creature feature film, and yeah, one leads to another. 19 summers later, they're fully developed, and they seem to have killed a lot of other people that went on the island, but this family doesn't know that they're there, which the movie has this character named Patrick, played by Kevin Segers. You guys know who he is. He was Terry in the remake of Dawn of the Dead, and he was also in the Wrong Turn movie, the first one, as one of the characters that gets killed. And yeah, he's in other movies, but those are like the two movies that people would know what Kevin Singer is. He plays this kid named Patrick who was like with his family, want to spend their family house trip in the island, and one leads to another. He goes wander off with his bike at his playhouse, where it's like an abandoned playhouse where he leaves all his shit around. And his parents are at their family's house. They notice that all the food in the kitchen is all fucking messed. There's just a huge ass mess. They don't know what's going on. They really don't know what's actually going on for the most time, because the most time of the movie they're just not really knowing what the hell happened to their house, their family house. Yeah, what leads them to another. They get attacked by the Komodo Dragon, especially Patrick, but he makes it away, getting bruises and scratches from his leg. He makes an escape, and the Komodo eats his parents, and they even eat his dog Buster. Even though it's pretty sad to see the dog getting eaten, but you know what? It shows you the monster doesn't give a fuck what it eats. It's like the same situation with zombies. They don't give a fuck what they eat. They either eat kids or even animals. Like, they don't really give a fuck what they eat. They're not like, oh, I'm gonna just eat their parents. No, they don't think, because they're not there. They're gone. But especially for like the giant animals, like the animals, they don't give a fuck about what they're eating. They'll eat you like zombies. And they ate his parents, and they ate his dog Buster. He makes it out there because I think the oil people company found him wandering by himself. They take him back to the Florida, where he's like living with his last family member, which is his aunt. And one leads to another. You get this psychiatrist named Victoria Juno, who played by Joe Hennessy, and her character's not that bad. Even though her character kind of comes off as an idiot, like, why would you want to take Patrick back to the island? That's what the situation is. But one leads to another. She takes him back to the island, gets the help from Mr. Grizz, who's like friend of the family, and even Patrick, to help him out. And then they help him out to like cross this island, even though they're not supposed to, because of what happened to Patrick and his family. And of course, they make it across, and you get some pretty good soundtrack music, even though it's the same music played again and again from different emotion. It's really good music. I gotta admit, the music is pretty good. It kind of feels like a somber music in some of the songs, but of course, most of them is like terror and menacing music, and even adventuring finale music at the end. But one leads to another. They make it there. Patrick's kind of upset, not that he doesn't want to be there. Even his aunt doesn't want him to go there. Like, she's like the smart one. Like, why the fuck would you want to take him to the place that had his family all killed and shit? One leads to another. You get this character Oates, who's played by Billy Burke. You guys know him. He was in Drive Angry. He was in few other movies, but everybody would know him as Bella's dad in the Twilight series. It sucks that he's only known to be in those movies, but nobody doesn't remember he's like in a creature feature film of this movie called Komodo, and he's pretty good too. I like Billy Burke in this movie. Billy Burke did a good performance. He plays this character named Oates, who's mysterious at first. You think he's a bad guy and a scumbag, but he comes off as a bit in the first part of the movie when he meets up with Patrick and Victoria later in the movie, because they come across with one another later in the film. One leads to another. They get attacked by the Komodos. They kill and attack Patrick's aunt. and she's like the first one that's killed in the movie. One leads to another. They get the escape. They get attacked by another Komodo that grows into their car, crashes through the car window, trying to slobber and eat them, but gets falls off the car and breaks his and snaps his neck. And one leads to another. They get crashed into Billy Burke's truck, and then they help him out of their crashed car. They pick up Mr. Grizz, who's actually fucking attacked and injured by one of the Komodos. He has a lot of infection from the bacteria saliva that they have on his wounds, and it's drool that it. Because Billy Burke's character explains that it's drool bacteria, emphysema, emphysema or something like that's what it is. It's stuff that like it will slowly kill you down, like because that's what that drooling is. It's like pretty much venom. It's pretty much like venom bacteria shit all over their mouth. That slob shit. That's why it's never good to touch that shit on your hand or get that shit all over you because it's bacteria. Like it's infection and shit. But yeah, one leads to another. They make it to the base. Mr. Grizz sadly dies in front of Victoria's hands, telling him, "Get Patrick and get him out of the island as soon as possible. Save him." And then Mr. Grizz passes away from his injuries, and they encounter another Komodo, which attacks Otis' friend Dempsey. But you could tell he is attacked because he got bit in the neck. And then one leads to another. One of the Komodos comes and attacks Oates and Victoria, but before that even happens, Dempsey real quick grabs his shotgun and shoots the fucking monster, blowing its brains out. Pretty good practical effects like blood splatter. And Dempsey is already dying from his wounds because of the infection and the bite wound that he has on his neck, losing a lot of blood. And of course, it really makes Oates really mad. Like, shit, these motherfuckers need to get down and be put to rest, taking these Komodo dragons down. And yeah, I forgot to mention the Komodo dragons. These are giant ass monsters. They're like sizes of couches. They're like, you know, like how big couches that you have in your living room. Those are like the sizes of the Komodos. They're like big motherfuckers. And it's pretty good special effects with mix of CGI and practical mixed together. It's like the same effects that they use for Jurassic Park, and it's well done. Pretty good CGI, I gotta admit. Mixed with practical, like that's how you use CGI really properly. If it's mixed well with the practical, like Jurassic Park, then you get a pretty good movie for the special effects. They did that with the Relic as well, in Anaconda. One leads to another. They take Mr. Grizz's dead body and Dempsey's dead body up to the elevator shaft and picking them up so they could leave them on top of a roof so they don't have to be eaten by the Komodos. And then that's when Oates explains to Victoria what was he doing there. And he explains that he was there to just eliminate all these Komodo dragons because this oil worker, the oil owner dude, is a scumbag and a son of a bitch because he knew these things were there and he allowed people to get killed and not do anything about it. And he's the reason, that owner is the reason why that island is abandoned because of reporting of all the killings and that happened and the missing people. It's because even some of the oil workers were even killed by these Komodos because all the Komodo dragons ate all the little bugs and little animals that were there and rodents. And one of that's what was only left was people visiting the island. And that dude didn't take no accountability of what he did, what he's allowing, and not letting people know that the island is fucking dangerous with these Komodo dragons. And then one day, Oates and his wife are scientists, explorers, and they went separate ways to the jungle, and he never found his wife. But now it's showing that, assuming that they think that Oates killed his wife, so he got accused of murder. But it wasn't true because the Komodos were the ones that killed his wife, because that's why he would never find her wife ever again, because the Komodo got to her, because they're vicious predator motherfuckers. And one leads to another. The guy Brackett, who's the owner of the oil company, say, "Oh, kill these Komodo dragons, and I'll give you a passport to get out of the country, so you don't have to be dealing with this trial against you being accused of murder." Oates accepted it, but he kind of feels like he doesn't really care about accepting Brackett's bullshit option, and aligns with Victoria and Patrick. And he does that. So they go and search for Patrick, who's separated from the group early in the movie. And one leads to another. Victoria is trying to find Patrick until she sees a Komodo attacking her, and she defends herself with a piece of weapon until Patrick leaves a trap for it to be strangled and stabbed. And then another Komodo comes in, tries to attack her, but gets hit with some metal pieces and crumbles down. Oates gets attacked by another Komodo, and he brutally stabs the shit out of it with a knife, stabbing the shit out of it with its eye and its brain, cutting it through. And then Victoria was almost gonna get killed by one of the the Komodos that got crumbled by the material stuff that fell on it. Wakes up and is about to eat Victoria until, boom, it gets shot in the head by a shotgun by Oates. Comes for the safe. And then Victoria meets up with Patrick, who's like still disturbed from what happened to his parents and his dog. Now she tells him the truth. What happened is the older company. They were the ones that were the fucking scumbags that covered this shit up and never told anybody about visiting the island, that these Komodo dragons were here and they were dangerous. So yeah, they allowed people to get killed. Even Patrick's parents got killed for that. It's sad. But of course, they encountered more Komodos. Oates leads into a trail where he tries to burn the Komodo, and boom, the Komodo gets out of the fire and tries to attack Victoria, but Victoria doesn't give a shit about not acting scared no more. She has rage, and she grabs the fucking. She got like a big ass thick rock, and she just says, "Son of a bitch!" Boom, starts hitting the shit out of the fucking Komodo and just beating the shit out of its face with the rock and caving it in until it's smashed and fully dead. And of course, she is calmed down by Patrick, like, "Okay, take it easy. You killed the bastard already." And one of these another Bracket comes with his fucking lawyers in the helicopter, and then Oates steals the helicopter, and he's like, "Fuck you, Bracket. You're getting your comeuppance, so you're gonna get eaten by the Komodos." And of course, Victoria and Patrick are getting chased by one more Komodo, and then because the other Komodo is like left there by Bracket in that area, so he's gonna get eaten, and even his shady lawyers are gonna get eaten too. But the one that's chasing Victoria and Patrick is almost getting to them until Oates comes with the helicopter and saves them and grabs a flare gun and shoots the fucking flare into the mouth of the Komodo, and it starts bursting and just getting burned up into flames. Good practical effects. Mixed with CGI and practical. And it ends there where they finally make it back to the Florida coast, and boom, you get some pretty good redemption music. Do 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 do. I like the music in the movie. Pretty good soundtrack. And on. They get back, and then they're happy to be back, safe and sound and alive, and defeating these monsters. And Brackett gets his comeuppance because he's the one that was fucking behind all this shit, allowing people to get killed by the Komodos. And the movie ends with the adventurous, menacing creature feature music, jungle feel to it. I like the music soundtrack to it. Pretty solid soundtrack and pretty solid directing by Michael Lantier, who was a special effects dude for Jurassic Park and many other movies. Did a good job. And it's the writers from Anaconda, so they were up in the realm of that era with doing Anaconda movies and snake movies and all that good creature feature shit. Yeah, I definitely recommend folks to check it out. If you like creature feature films, highly recommend Komodo 1999. Great film. Definitely deserves a Blu-ray upgrade from Vestron Video Collector Series or Kino Lorber or Screen Factory or even Arrow Video, please, or even Vinegar Syndrome. Hopefully this gets a Blu-ray upgrade someday. Yeah, definitely recommend Komodo 1999. Great film, criminally underrated. Hit the like, subscribe, and take care, folks. Bye-bye.